perfect design, the greatest possible encounter. You guys, I'm so grateful for your presence, and I'm excited to talk with you guys. I've got a lot of great things to explain and perform, but actually, I'm gonna. I love you guys so much. All right, so what I need is a little bit of cooperation from the audience. We're gonna perform a process of epiphany. We're gonna perform the process of saving lives. It is a powerful year. Not for us to continue pretending that things are the way they were in 2019, but it's a time for us to change and grow. It's a unique opportunity for a great wizard, storyteller, artist, a true father of society, such as myself and my good friend Trey Parker. My name is Hatch, and I'm here to present for Master Source Industries. I want us to all create the sort of perfect scenario so that we can really have a mind meld epiphany. Not that we're you know because we want to be based on reality. We don't want to just be like water casting, like, oh, I want this, or I think it's that way. There's other things in reality that paint a finer picture of wisdom, and you need to sense it in Hatch's face. What is this man's inheritance as a wizard? Where is he going? Who is he in the future? Is this a good man to partner with for in a million years in the future? Hatch is a completely different timing belt, chain belt, where Hatch is talking about the cosmos. And frankly, it's such a relief. It's so exciting to hear from the identity of the Earth, the solar system, and we're reaching out into the universe and we're growing like the most beautiful, perfect family. We are royalty in the starlight. We are the exciting heroes of America. We are the ones who can give this country some self respect. Trey, you know it wasn't a pangolin. You can't keep on living in denial. When you have something and you know beyond other people, you have a responsibility. And I'm telling you that the elemental shift and the way the universe behaves here on Earth is different from the way it behaves in the rest of the universe. But the nature equates that you don't remember being on another planet, right? Trey, you're not an alien. You're not from another planet. You live here on Earth. You need to understand that. You don't lack the orientation and the understanding of the developmental levels and courses of other worlds. You only need to understand yourself in this world, for the Earth is the prime planet that will be like a father to all the other planets. So, anyway, it would be a massive distraction for us to even know how advanced the technology is on other planets. Why? Because we're actually the supersede beginning of their entire. So, something like Batman in today's American society, if Trey produces Hatch through the Ware Map, which is the Earth prophecy, this is a sequence of enlightenment. I know this is pretty heavy stuff, but it's important that you understand because you have been defeated by Greta. You are defeated by a girl who makes an ugly face. Her importance in this world outweighs your tenacity and your persuasion. And that is a critical sign. And I hope that you're ready for this adult drink because I'm here to talk about the prophecy. And I know that, okay, so, all right, so we can either design a kingdom for our children. You don't have to call it a prophecy. You can also call it nature, or you could call it recognition. Does Trey Parker recognize this guy? Does Trey Parker feel that he made a mistake in 2019? Um, okay, so admittedly, like this isn't the energy that I wanted to go with, but I feel like it's actually relevant because I think Trey is at a point where he's like, okay, I see how, like, we're talking about this business now. What is the thing between? I mean, with the Wear map, I mean, it's talking about South Park. All right, Trey. You guys, I am so excited, and I'm here to be like this sort of person who's working to get these breather masks onto people's heads. Like I had to go out shopping today. Let me tell you, I want one of those breather masks. I want to have it over my face. And this breather mask, if we produce this breather mask, it's the sort of thing that Greta Thunberg herself, she'll hear about it and she'll be like, "Oh my gosh." And you'll we'll see pictures of Greta wearing a breather mask just to support people. She'll be like, "Yeah, you guys should support that because you be safe in the cities and all." This virus didn't fall off the back of an animal with a tail. Right? Blaming the creature that has a tail, that's a liar's brand. Uh, But the government doesn't embrace that. Nobody knows. The doctors don't care. The doctors are inoculating people with this serum. It's making some people sick and it's being ineffective in other places. This is an apocalypse. And our government's saying, hey, it's going to be okay, you guys. Like, you think I'm a sensationalist? You think I'm trying, no, I'm trying to make it right. And I'm saying, I want your help, Trey, with the development of the gentleman's best. I think that's an excellent I mean, just to let you know, I'm thinking like, oh, I really like to brainstorm with Trey about the gentleman's best and what that looks like. And I also have an idea about working with Trey's kid, Princess, who was a voice actor in South Park, and get her to design one of the ideal breathers designs that we would, be able to send one to Greta. So this is about us as a family fighting against death and evil. And meanwhile, Trey and Hatch are on this level where there's sort of this origin thing going on Earth, and the energy of commitment, the energy of the evidence of what we've been treated with, we need to transcend that. Oh my gosh, Trey, I think that the timing belt is so wildly. Oh my God. Like I feel right now, like what I'm doing right now is basically the best performance I've ever felt. It's not that I have butterflies, but right now I feel like, oh, I should start over. My mind is just going, start over, start over. But I'm like, no, no, don't start over because I have this really good feeling that Trey is like, oh, Trey is like, yes, put down those pins. Okay, here he is. He's talking about this. There's the where's map. Oh, grab it. Oh, dang it. Right. And we are reprised by In the Society by Greta in 2019. I'm an artist and I know how to critique. And you guys critiqued me when I went out there in 2019, but then you committed hard to it. Even though the truth was you failed the encounter because of cowardice and because of the hemoglobin of the shit that you are in your entertainment industry. Okay. Where you're slowly the identity of a wild brand such as Trey Parker is getting targeted and attacked over the years by the Illuminati, who would invite him, trap him, segment him, digest him, and then attack the African American community with the movie Soul. So the movie Soul is about programming society. And that's not what I'm talking about doing. So we're not doing a sort of behind the door programming of society with a Green Wolf robot toy. In fact, it's right, it's actually something we build together. This is a story about building the perfect robot with my son. So Trey and Hatch is sort of a family project, and the episode I'm talking about making with Trey and the toys that I want to result in for Christmas 2021. All of that stuff is right out there in the front where people understand what it is and they're participating in the development. And it's our own brand. But Trey is a spicy baby because he's like the wild regard. And he'd be like, see, Trey, I'll say that Trey would be like, couldn't you have anticipated that I would be energetically overwhelmed in 2019? And I'd say to Trey, actually, it's the where map is a type of language from the earth that was predicting that it was possible that you might actually be brave and encounter me. But if you had like if you were just like, oh, I've got butterflies, and you know, and you were like, and you thought that we couldn't work together because you were nervous, that's not really a critique. But you did censor my election in 2020, so you dedicated hard to a false critique, and that's not professional. That's not show business. That's your evidence going crying to God, see, God, see how I'm manipulated by the Illuminati, and I'm giving the people the real guff. And so Hatch is this wizard. I know Trey doesn't think of that of himself. Trey's actually the secret dragon. And Trey'd be like, I'm not really a great dragon. I'm kind of a Looney Tune, right? Like that preview, or his butt really close to his head. I'm excited about all that stuff too, you guys. But we need to be also really responsible about children dying, or the fact that society isn't really as good as it looks on the movie screen. Because actually, okay, so what's happening is, all right, so you understand that because, this falsetto of, uh, you know, Little Nightmares 2 just came out. Oh boy, I've meditated with it, and I've actually watched the whole playthrough. I keep up with all the new stuff. Uh, with um, what is it called? No commentary walkthrough. It's amazing, and an incredible meditation because I'm really involving with the wealthiest gasp of our of people who can like, oh, they got the newest game and stuff, and I'm like chattering with them, being like, oh, see how that but it's not all just visual, it's also just like this a broader meditation. And sometimes like the newest games or movies is the best sort of background sound to hear. It's a large, yeah, it's like the ears of the society. While the society's working hard to show us beautiful images, oh, look at this dragon, look at this video game, the reality is that kids need our help. We need to be more than we were before. And when we actually physically do this with our hands, that's the only way to speak the word and for it to become a reality. Females understand that. They're like, females are very much about what is happening right now. What's happening right now? We're still pretending to censor Hatch. He's the blame. That's why we can't, click on his videos. It has to be secret. Why is it a secret, Daddy? Oh, it's because, Matt's nervous about his support of the Illuminati. And, well, you know. So, you guys are working against the model because my campaign was actually a huge boon for the African American community because I had an entire chapter where I was going to talk about their wild regard, and that would have brought us away from the hate meditation, the confusion, which is actually the Electoral College. People are all like, "Oh, mudslinging," and they're all upset while people are dying. It's crazy. There's a clusterfuck. Here's Hatch, and he's talking sense over here, but we don't know to produce him. I'm not sure if we can make our money back on that, Precious. It's real fucked up that you guys would betray your own children, because this is an opportunity for the princess. Trey's own daughter can be a hero to Greta. But Trey's like, no, 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 must not allow. Give me a hug, Trey. Come on, this is good, baby. Anyway, it's more than that. With the Wear map, we can set up an entire princess chapel. We're surrounded by cutting edge technology, streaming service, etc. And we can put Trey's daughter up there, right? um, I think that she's a secret hero that can save the world. I believe in Trey's daughter. I know Trey has a son, and you guys have a bunch of kids, right? All the South Park people have lots of kids. You guys, right? Because of the Deadlights Rose, I thought that we were done with apocalypse seasons. I apologize. The Earth also colluded with my understanding of the season orientation of things that are beyond the consumer grade individual, right? So the deadlights rose. I'm like, okay, the dirty stuff is all right. So we need to get busy, you know, raising up these wizards. So I was going to go and make a, um, indie game startup. But instead of that, Earth was like, no, I want you to work with this Trey Parker. Wow, did you see how my hands moved like that? And yet, when I was looking at the wear map last night, what I realized, how did I even do that? It's almost like Earth was saying like, yeah, I I kind of had to take a big poop and rearrange the humans, even though it appears that I was trying to get Hatch and Trey to work together in 2019. Yeah, it's actually I was talking about 2021. Like I think Earth is saying that because I was looking at the map today, and or actually, Liz, last night I started going like, like this Lotus opened up, and I'm like, oh my God! I love those buildings and where I'm like, oh dang it, this is so good. All right, so technically, I believed that the apocalypse was over, and so I was like, oh, of course, the Earth wants to activate the fractal ascension of Earth and wizards and that would actually solve all the problems of the universe. That's why it's a tantamount issues to all these other little tiddly shits. There's a lot of little distractions, but for someone who has a human condition such as you and I, we're masters of being like, oh yeah, but just, ignore the humbug like everyone does. But sometimes the humbug will do something scary and actually put on a face and change society, and that's God assassination, and it's what they've been planning for is the clockwork of Earth, and they spring trap and assassinate the natural clockwork ascension of life, and they're trying to hack it through this. I'm saying they can't do it, and what I'm saying is like because it's self-evident the body image does not suggest that there's some sort of backdoor easy peasy thing. And so in the stratosphere of time, DNA itself explains mankind. So mankind is this hard skull, boom, that doesn't make sense. All right. But you're such a noble sacrifice, self sacrificing like the cow at the end of the universe who enjoys being eaten. You're such a noble sacrifice that you would not even allow yourself to be appointed when Earth chooses you through the Wear Map tray. And that is a type of intelligent self failing or self betrayal. But again, like I see signs that we're on time, and like because you and I are both gentlemen, Trey, you understand it's like, oh, well, we could still do business. So what I'm saying is like I didn't anticipate in 2019 that there would be this societal apocalypse, but I certainly recognized the indication. I thought it was done from the Deadlights Rose, right? And then, but so I know it looks like Earth is saying, "Oh gosh, Trey," but I think that Earth is like, actually, it's more like the end of human civilization is in your future. We were desperately swearing and burning oil, South Park, blasting off like a blue-eyed angel, swearing, fighting against censorship, fighting for a free election. Right on time, Trey. Very natural. Okay? Because Earth wants to keep humanity because the silver lining of junk DNA actually defeats the false creation model. So if we can triumph here on Earth, we defeat the problem for the entire universe. And the UFOs and also confused people don't want us to do that. You understand? So we have to be super smart people on the ground zero of it all. But what does it mean? It means children are dying and we need to put a breather mask on them, save children's lives, and then producing the Green Wolf robot toy, which actually is the equipment that allows the Earth to perform the ascension of all mankind. Now, the wolf icon in my language, because my icon is facing this way and the wolf is facing that way, it's like the return particle from the future of the straight rainbow. The completion of the triangle is enterprised by the green wolf icon in the Mandelbrot fractal, and it's placed beneath my icon as if it is my servant, like a wolf. Nature is my kingdom. So everyone in the world who attacks the Green Wolf robot toy or attacks my partnership with Trey is removing themselves from the clandestine triangle of the ascension of wizards. So the Green Wolf robot toy is actually self-defense. Because the identity of these wizards, they're explaining who they are when they get triggered and attack, innocence or power. That light is bad. Put out light. They get upset by, intelligence. For the behavior of, failing to produce a breather mask for these kids during this pandemic that didn't come from a pendulum. Our government really doesn't know what's going on. That they keep on saying there's going to be a solution, but we can make the solution and solve the entire world problem. And this would be something people want. This is something people are asking for, Trey. But if you fail to protect the life of these children, then that movie Soul and the Illuminati will become correct, and they will become the status quo because they do have a point, but they aren't the chosen one from the Ware map. Earth chose Trey because Earth wanted the ascension to come from the wild guff of Colorado Man. Colorado Man! I think you've lost your instincts, Trey, from Colorado. You were prepared for this. You are the largest Oni. They've been rapping and like preparing the gauntlets of Trey Parker, wrapping it up, ready for this fight. Trey Parker comes out and he's got handlers, people with chains holding it back. Oh, here he comes. Trey comes out with South Park. Respect my authority. Boom. Trey is the wild guff, and the Earth has chosen him because Earth has mad style, and Earth is lucid about the state of man. So you guys aren't the victims, but when you want to continue, oh, well, let's dedicate hard to censoring Hatch, and you're falling into the pocket of Illuminati. Okay? Because you're mind controlled and your evidence, Petri dish, oh, I'm being mind controlled. It's not my fault that I can't take money for the salvation of the world and children. Because that's what this has been the whole time, ever since 2019. That's what you refused with your vigorous. Mm. Anyway, telltale signs of. But the solution happens when we actually make the connection and do the work. That's the only time it's going to start feeling good, Trey. It's just torture until then. I don't use strange methods, but like I was telling you, Trey. All right, I'm going a little bit on a tangent here. All right. I was gonna come out here and be like, "We need this mask, you motherfucker, to do." I'm feeling like, ugh. It's like the energy is like, woo. It's almost like you get to a point where like, oh, it's so wrong, it's right to be wrong or something. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. But I feel like really. Oh, all right. Let's look at these pictures for a minute, you guys, because I don't even know what the like. I'm feeling the universe swirling around me, and I'm like, oh. But it's really cool because the solution is before us. But I know that talking about these wild things that maybe you're not comfortable with, I'm just saying, like, I didn't anticipate another apocalypse after the deadlights rose. And no one understands that except for me. So, like, I didn't approach Trey as a trap or like, oh, I look at the effect here. I'm like, oh no, that the earth was about to shit his pants because we're about due for total societal leveling. And our identity would be, even our timeline from the 80s and the 90s would be re-recorded. See, they give us a dummy head that can be re-recorded like a Lotus. That it's like the junk DNA is like a trap thing. So you need to create your own artwork kabuki, and maybe only South Park can understand it, right? So, like I honestly, like I thought that today I would come out here and I'd be like, hey, everybody, let's go. I've got some good news for your balls. Here, let's make this ideal breather. This is really exciting, and it's worth being excited about. I want to make Trey Parker's daughter into a celebrity who pushed and fought for this breather, and she made her own brand, and it was delivered to Greta. And so, you know, I believe that Trey's daughter, she knows about this crap, and she's like, yeah, I want to talk to Greta Thunberg. This is our stop killing our world, Dad. Like why does that not move you guys? And the evidence, the feeling of math, of sure profit, does not compel you? You need to be changed in the right way. Um, so once again, um, let's talk a little bit about this. Like, I feel like the town is going to be super excited that there's a new factory moving in and they're developing breathers. Amazing. I think this town will be really excited about it. This building is in a poor shape. Uh, I plan to increase these buildings, update them. I want to have automated factory. What I realized after looking at the space, I really do think we can produce all the masks here in these long factories, but we need automated assembly and people who like monitor the machines to do that. So that's a huge, huge thing. And what I was thinking is like, what about like a contract where we pay them over the set of like uh 5 years, because like in 1 year's time we'll be able to pay off all of these buildings and stuff. Uh, so let me just go through this. So for example, like this, the auto body, I love that. That's so cool that that's there. Quabbin wire and cable. That's so cool. Look at all this. It's like a really nice building. Seems like a lot of people probably they don't have a very large parking lot. What's going on there? Uh-oh, guys. Maybe there's something else going on here. No. Okay. Um, the point is that I think that this building is very relevant, and this building, of course, is critical. But these two might be the easiest ones to get. Now, the revelation that I had recently is actually this building. Uh, and I know that you're just like, okay, so that's just another huge amount of, I know, but look, this is like a towing company and like a U-Haul dealer. What it feels like is these guys are sitting on my, like a space holder. They're like, oh, we'll reserve that for you, sir, Mr. Hatch. Like this, we could, a couple of years down the, like we could use this space for a lot of stuff, but then it'd just be great to have a covered bridge where you have these two like areas. Maybe this one's focused more on housing, so it's like a hotel, and additional parking. But then there's literally, the factory is right here, and they're really churning out, and we have trucks that go through here. I mean, there's like amazing, but there's a package and distribution supply store. Oh, a supply store. Yeah, but these are trains. These trains literally deliver. And look, it goes magically underwater. There's a little part where the train goes underwater right there. So cool, you guys. It's like magic. Uh, this is a very magical location. And it was just sort of last night where I had this glowing epiphany and I felt that this performance would be like that. Like last night, I was just basking in it. But I have this feeling that the human condition like gives you the wrong feelings at the wrong time and messes with it in this way. It's like the false pink. It's the false time code. We were shot by a diamond laser beam from another planet, so their ghost time sense is infecting us through Scientology. So we have a false timing code. We're not related to the rocks. The rocks the rocks of Earth are the time signature of our solar system clockwork, and we're being attacked by a pink remote alternate mindset that causes us to be milquetoast obvious consumer grade pushers, isoflavin of the average small footprint on the earth. But the earth has spoken completely in confidence for Trey Parker and Hatch Penn Healysphere to work together. And it is super cool, you guys, because God wants this to happen. So, what's a wonderful thing is that we have all this space, so you can imagine just anything could be here. I was thinking we put like a princess palace right here for Trey's daughter, and she'll have all this equipment around her as like an inheritance. We need to treat our princesses correctly, like Greta. And I'll make a TV show where we're saying she's so cool, and we're going to talk about it. Yep. So once we get in here, like for me, this is like, oh dang, like I looked at it last night, and then I started to have this warm feeling, and I was just like, oh my God, my products over 5 years would be able to pay for all of this, and it's just wonderful because it's in the middle of this factory town. You know, we're engaging with the communication of society as a civilization working and providing a breather mask, and I'm the CEO to bring it. I'm the boss of my own company. That's important just for the structure, but Hatch is going to do a lot of good work for us. So anyway, this area is sort of like, oh, I'm looking forward to that, okay? But it really is like, okay, these two are critical because I feel that if we start working with these factories, these things are going to become unavailable, and we need the ding dong. You have to have the ding dong, and I think that's why I'm saying I need to work with Trey to kind of, ooh, can we get that? These two, and I think this one will fall into our lap later. But when we build this all up, what happens to these three buildings? Like, do we end up feeling? I'm talking about, do we end up feeling like we're glad that that we don't own those buildings? I mean, they're kind of right in the way, and they're sort of bothering the, the energy here. I'd really like to unify the buildings and turn it into a larger studio factory where they're making toys and video games and a streaming service. Really, the streaming service pays for everything because that, people are learning on our streaming service. We're talking about a new political party. We're talking about how can we change economics? We're really going to go through and tackle these issues. That's what Hatch is good at. So we put this guy to work and we partner with him in such a way that we're not only receiving a profit, but we're also completing our task with Earth and the universe, and that feels so good. You guys, this is a South Park prophecy. I'm sure about it. You guys were a little bit immature about your responsibility, but now I'm asking you to be like a phoenix reborn and give that breather mask to these children and let your kids be heroes. Okay. So like I don't know. I come out here and I feel like we have a lot, like we need to catch up. We need to all right, thank you guys so much. I love you. I'm gonna actually try to perform one more time because I want to talk about like like the show, and it's just like I don't like literally last night I was up at 4 in the morning and I was looking at this map and I noticed this and I was like, oh my God, this whole area. And then it does have it has like areas where the public can go and like they feel, it's like, oh, and there's like a Simpsons like area or whatever, but they're like, oh yeah, 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 but it doesn't interfere with what we're doing because we have like different areas and stuff. So this is, it's good for people. It's not gonna be like you can't go here. It'll be cool, and it's a social thing. We'll be giving jobs. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge deal, especially for this town. I mean, you know, it's just an incredible artifact because historically the Watergate is right here. So this is actually where what started this factory town was this location right here, and it's just abandoned. And I'm like, God, I feel it's just like it feels so specific, and it's abandoned like an Earth invaded and our culture uh, moon raped by junk DNA erased. There's many programming probes from the UFOs in the Earth and in the Moon. They would attempt to erase our soul signature and claim that the earth was broken and claim that we're using dark matter to create our souls or the universe. So they're forcing us to use the wrong energy type. Okay, so that's why there's this huge image of a South Park character. Um, I mean, you know, I the reason I thought to all right, you guys, let me try to give this speech one more time. So the Earth wanted to begin the inauguration of the enlightened course through Trey Parker because this would lead to a more substantial America, a more substantial humanity. Whereas, if we were, if Trey continues to fail, um, ah, maybe in the year 2022, and I'm still unproduced, and I might be contacted by people who are actually those types of wizards who believe in the wear map. And they're like, well, if the gatekeeper's been contacted by Earth to work with South Park. I mean, we haven't been invited yet, so we're in the right to be patient, and they are. I think that they're very intelligent people, but they are on the nature of the origin of God and fighting for the church and understanding the UFO problem. And there was a time when they were supposed to be forgiven, but because the UFOs dedicated hard to an attack construct in the 80s, 90s, even though they appeared peaceful around the Earth, they actually there was a big thing went into our sun. I know what it is that they shot us with a diamond laser. I know what that is. Okay, all that stuff. It was sort of their plot, and that was sort of what they wanted to do. They didn't want Jesus to return to Earth and forgive the UFOs. Like they're not like here for the big living thing. Okay, but I think Illuminati is right. So they'll probably be patient till 2022, but that would be a different America, and I can feel it coming into focus because Trey is unconscionable about profit margin and children dying because this didn't come from a pangolin. You understand? So all the adults are lying to the children, and the children are protesting the adults because there's a generation gap from after the deadlights rose. It's a different language curve, right? But instead of being a powerless numbskull from the 70s, like, it's happening like a female, like, oh, I'm being touched. I'm going to record it with my X chromosomes. The nature of the egg, and enjoying your experience. So the masculine form is sometimes like a very riddled wizard who has a very particular, the wizards, and that's why men are difficult, but it's also what makes them redeeming and interesting and unique, But actually, the perception of green physics is the identity totem, and the blue-eyed physics is a completely different shift. And I'm working to perform the enlightened green perception suit, and it's Trey Parker's opportunity to complete the blue-eyed physical behavior sequence, which would be the silver lining junk DNA, and solve the entire world. So Hatch is someone who he began out trying to sneak medicine into the food. Let's entertain them. Oh, but it'll be good. And Trey's like, yeah, what? You're like trying to put secrets in it like the Illuminati? That won't be cool. That's not South Park. Well, no shit, Sherlock. But you're talking like your enemy. Well, it's not because I'm possessed by them, and it's not that I've been defeated in my career path from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Trey, you're the golden child, Trey. You're the chosen one. But I had a hard time because you're special, Trey. And you need to understand that from the darkness of your mind, similar to you need to believe in your daughter. Because who's going to believe in her if she doesn't? And who's going to believe you? And who's going to believe that hatch should be produced if you don't? Okay, you need to. So the synapses of your pink brain is going like an unlimited amount of. There's a storm in your mind. So it's just absolutely outrageous to think that, like, a man could be by this, but humanity is very much doing like, oh, I'm being affected by this. But the evidence from the earth is language. Deadlights rose, and then Trey Parker chosen, and then another apocalypse. Oh, dang it. So Earth is saying, we have to actually do this critical thing and fight against invasion now because these guys are gridlocked. into the addiction. Yet we are before the flood, and what we choose to do here, vis-a-vis producing the mask, working with Hatch, will be enough to persuade them away from an invasion course and slash, because what we can do is actually provide them evidence that the thing's not broken, and uh their soul removal, they want to put the false nucleus in. It's this basic science where you remove the actual nucleus of the genuine article from the 80s and the 90s. I think that that's what this apocalypse looks like. Hasn't this pandemic removed us all? No, dude, we're before the flood. See, this is Earth pumping on the brakes where we shit our pants before we all die. So, of course, Trey is struggling with depression because he's like, oh, am I supposed to take on the wrong amount of blame? No, dude, you're sabotaging me and the children by going, like, oh, I can't make money selling like life to children. Come on, you guys. It doesn't matter that this isn't normal business. You guys' career, your movie path fell off the block in like the 90s. It's not like I'm here talking to the freaking. Um, I'm just saying, like, you guys are in a position to produce this breather mask. Oh, okay. So that's why I'm here. I'm sorry about the School of Hard Knocks. I hope that you've survived it, Trey. Oh my God. Like, I'm lucid and I'm here talking with you. It's so cool. It's exciting. I think that, you know me probably better than anyone else. A lot of people, it's like people are talking about their rank, but when they sort of try to make it look like their suggestion is that I have some sort of problem. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take care of it. And they're like, that guy is, Asperger's for sure. And it's just like, wow, so what's your favorite TV show? And they're like, oh yeah, Game of Thrones. And I'm like, okay, Junior, so some small people who are like, oh, but it's like, it's just all the time. And it's like zombies, zombies, zombies. In 2014, I had to sacrifice a aspect of my anatomy because of massive illiteracy on the residency. They couldn't even see a visual sign. Mm. So all that's been going on, and finally, the Earth chose a chosen one. I didn't expect that to happen. It was after the Deadlights Roses. Like, of course, the Deadlights Roses clarified spiritual condition. Now we can go, whoosh, and Earth has chosen Trey Parker. Oh my gosh, I love it! I love it! I love it! It's amazing. Like, but I wasn't tracking Trey Parker. He wasn't. I don't have a dossier on Trey. So we've very much been like learning about each other as we've been doing it. Like, so this is a unique thing, right? All right, so how do we get this mask made? Well, we need to make a prototype. We need to get excited about that, and we need to build like a presentation to the Ware town and talk about these buildings. And we're going to join these together. And in the next 5 years, these buildings will be paid, 5 million, something like that. And, and get, because there's at least three different private owners, and then the long buildings, oh, that might be the town actually. Mhm. I think they'd be happy to see it get updated. We're gonna put a new roof on the long flat one, and the second floor, the long flat one, has like broken windows, and it appears to not be occupied. I mean, they're really not taking care of that, and it's a piece of history there of their town, right? So I think they would really be into it, but they need it to be so freaking professional, right? Like professional, like negotiating lawyer types, like and they've got a thing, they have graphics and they got maps, they got pictures of like, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to revitalize the downtown, and this is going to really brighten this up. This is going to bring a lot to your town, and we're going to be making these breathers really good. It's a wonderful story. It's about, and making a lot of jobs for where we're going to take care of this, and we'll be sure to give that energy. We want to relocate and really showcase that where is using the water energy and more green, and all this stuff though. A lot of this sort of work is would be essential, and um so there's like a gaposis between that happening, the development of the prototype for the breather, and also the exposure. And I mean, I have a really good feeling about being like Trey's apprentice, like a for as far as like I am a novice to big business, and but I'm not a novice to what is weird and invisible and goes clunk in the night. So you can believe me when I tell you that Trey and his family have a destiny with the earth. The earth has chosen you, and so you have a slightly different treatment from the world. So Trey's been seeing God speak through the various signs. There's no doubt in my mind that Trey is having like a universal awakening, and it's so important. And in Trey's mind, he's like, "Oh, I'm having anxiety. Hatch wouldn't like if I was doing this." But actually, my guardian angels have inviso eyes, and they're like, "Oh, Trey's having a reaction," and Trey's like, and have in the energy like a mile radius around his place wherever he's having an epiphany. There's like this light and energy shaping around. You are shielded by the immortal light of 2014. My orb of light dome went to the entire earth. There's mentionings of me in literature and pop culture. And this is sort of like, oh, a public watering hole. Like, here's a resource of karma where you can actually talk about what the earth has actually achieved. So I know about that spooky stuff. That stuff's all taken care of, you guys. Um, all right. So here it is. How do we actually? And again, I feel like Trey is like, this is pretty raw because I feel like I'm trying to take you seriously for the first time. And so I'm here. Okay. And like I feel that too. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. I'm really excited about the reader mask. I want to wear one, bro. Like this is not cool, right? That is it's okay. Um, Trey, I need you to be transcendent. I need you to do something beyond what you've done before. Oh, okay. So like I saw it in my a vision where Trey's like, if me, okay, it's basically me. Trey'd be like, it's basically me because you're right. Like, it gets complicated if you're asking for a group of people to produce you. So I'll just do it. Or Hatch is just assuming that, right? Okay. Oh my God, this is so important, you guys. That's why I'm trying to be real. I'd love to. I thought that I'd come out here and be like, hey, hey, and like do a show, and you'd be like, wow, yeah. But maybe that's not the feeling. Hey, okay, all right, here we go. How does identity save the universe? You have to believe in the boy and the girls. You have to. Oh, okay, here they are. I get it, man. I'm full enlightened. I know how. I know where I am and what's going on, what the universe is doing, and how this dialogue is going with Junkie name. How it is inconvenient for each different group has been telltale through my life, and I know very well the rigging of the system of the down, which is contributive to the aspect ratio of this Alpha curse, but is not the only contributing force to that. And Trey's description and orientation with Earth is completely his own. So Trey has his own complete set of reality observation, but we're both being treated by a similar weird kind of, huh? Why did that happen? That's obviously broken. That's when you're hearing from a little angel or something that's trying to say, oh, doo-doo-doo, huh, hee, hee, because that thing actually murdered 100 angels and is sitting up there with like a bunch of skulls and crowns in its mouth and trying to get worshipped. So a little angel would joke, hey, Trey Parker, and that's supposed to change it. Well, if you understood your actual empowerment, you wouldn't delay. Hmm? Come on now, Trey, produce Hatch. Oh. All right, so I see a thing where Trey literally brings Hatch over and sets Hatch up with an apartment near to where he is in California. And we start working on the company model together, and Trey is working on his series of his South Park, and he's like, I'd like to feather you in here, but there, but this and this, and then over here in Christmas 2021, that's when we want you to guest direct and be like, do something amazing with that Green Wolf robot toy. Of course, we'll have that relief of like in 2021 Christmas, those breather masks are printing out and getting distributed. Okay, that's a lifesaver. Period. This thing's fun to wear. It's got it's got gains. It's got like I was thinking almost like what we do is it can answer your phone. It can hear music, and it has an app. But we'll like update the app as we're like figure out things that people thought were really funny, and like people will be wearing it. And maybe like we snuck like a little laser like you know like a little one that's supposed to it can project like a little image on the plastic that only you can see, and they'll update their thing, and then like something like a little angel will go hello hello hello, like poof, like zip across the screen. You're like what, you know, and we just sort of play with them. But we'd have like a department who's like working on that, developing it, and sort of working with people, and so that's a whole department that just keeps on working. I do want to work with Trey specifically, like maybe even it's not urgent, but I mean, on the gentleman's best, like I want this to be a professional model that feels like something a CEO would wear. Uh, my company is a revolution for America and for these people. The streaming service is free speech. There's a lot of new voices that come up through the Wear map. So that's a bonus for South Park, right? This is about the invisible things and why, and building on the Wear map and reconfiguring that's like a physical thing that we're doing. It's like we've spoken it with our body, and that's actually the right way to speak it. That is the silver lining and the defeating of a junctine A or a plot against our world, because the earth is surviving. Nature is finding a way, and we're the evolution of identity in the beginning, and these UFOs want to waste all of our agony. It's ridiculous. It's not scientific. They're just following the system of the down, of the bad plan. They didn't land properly, da, 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 and then it becomes our fault. Right? That's why Greta Thunberg and then this other apocalypse. I'm like, what? I shouldn't. I was so angry at Earth, and then I had like a year ago. I was just like, ah, and then the sun had a huge solar flare, and was like, and the Earth was like, and then there was this weird stuff, but very encouraging. The earth and the sun, oh, they're not angry at me. They're angry at the situation. They're like, God, no, this. So, I often come out here and I say, hey, you censored that election. This is anti-American, But I don't want you guys to feel like that you're condemned. I need you to be wise and from it. I need you to change, right? Because that's a real man, is he senses the situation and he changes himself, not from tragedy, but from the evidence of Zion. For the form of the child, may the princess reign in peace and beauty. Her tranquility is the truth, and the universe yearns for her glory and her kingdom and her reign. Long live the princess. Omega Pan! These and more wizarding encounters will be frequent in my streaming service, where I'm putting the priority onto the individual inside the body. I can defeat all these problems, I guarantee it, because I know how things work. But through my company shall arise many other heroes. And that's also how I know that this will work, is because many more heroes will rise up and join this company. All right. So the options here, I think that on a level of just human interest, I think it's more practical for Trey to put me up in an apartment, and he and I can work on the company design and talking with some factories to get a prototype built. Oh my gosh, we already have, 8,000 of these, and then we could make a South Park episode just introducing the characters where Stan meets the Vampire King, and they develop this breather mask, and maybe they're in a lab and they're like they print it out, and it looks just like our prototype, and you turn the page and there it is. People can order the prototype breather, and meanwhile, Trey is like right there. He's like, okay, he's like, and he's like, okay, we've got investors, and tackle these buildings, but also get this sort of glumpigus of a bank loan and investors, whatever we can wrangle. But I think it really is smart for us to do it this way. I was, but and that's what I'm saying is probably the best idea. Okay, and that's focusing on that 2021 is the Christmas special when Hatch gets his way, and he's really going to be guest directing that. So, eh, right? And that's fun. I think that's going to be good. But until then, and the Green Wolf robot toy produced, yeah, through the Ware buildings, yes. All right. To get it there on time for Christmas is my priority. Trey Parker is the freedom and the wings of South Park, and I don't want to mess with that. I support Trey Parker deeply, powerfully, not for any other reason but that I love Earth and America. I was moved by God. Trey is the chosen one for his people. I understand he's acclimated to what people, you know, right. So I had mentioned, about me getting my own car, which is affordable because it's just a couple, like $1,000 a month, right? I get a car and I'm road tripping between places where this product is being manufactured and put together. And then I might go over, that's the whole thing. So, like, okay, if scheduling, I know this isn't a very good pitch for my driving thing, but I also was thinking about it. I'm like, it's not great. Me going on a road trip to try to sell a breather, it's not great. But it would be like, it might be a wrong impression because, like, here's this guy, American, Hutch, I'm going to make this breather, and he's driving around. It would be great. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be great. But is it really like what Earth needs right now? Like, is it real smart? I mean, it's only really smart if Trey is belligerent against real business and working with me. You know, I'd rather do it that way so that because I think it's respectful to people to have a presentation and we reveal it through South Park and then the Where map really makes sense. Okay, but I am heralding that look, I'm bringing money to this. Okay, the cloud of income from the breather mask and all of my ideas, a good script. Okay, so I'm bringing all of that. I don't feel like this is asking you to sacrifice yourself. Please don't sacrifice other people's children. Okay, there's a motivation as a father. And so I hope that through our relationship, Trey, I've evolved from you guys thinking that I'm crazy into you guys thinking that I am really, really smart. Because I'm here for the revolution of identity. The child can do it. I'm not saying yes. This recording is unique, it's different, but I think it's important. There needs to be a huge reaction from you, Trey, to get this breather mask to Greta. Okay, like humans, the adult Berg, but Trey's like, it's not a conspiracy. All the adults are like this, like, duh. Yeah, and you guys think it's from a pangolin. You freaking live a lie, you consumer whelp. And the children are protesting you and leaving school. And I'm not seeing a significant response to Greta today. But putting a breather mask on these kids, making heroes from our family, that is the correct response. And it's going to be powerful. It's what people want. Please understand the urgency. Give me a call anytime. Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you very much. Yeah, seriously, because I was feeling, I was like, I was thinking about, okay, how do I go on a road trip and that's only if Trey is alert, is like, I can't business with you, you know. Then I'll do it myself, you see? It only costs a little bit. But you want to censor that? You want to censor it? Okay, so I need you to change yourself because I think you committed hard to cowardice in 2019 when you were nervous. I'm nervous. That wasn't an actual reflection of my talent in as whether or not I should be produced, but you dedicated hard to it and canceled all of 2020 and went out with deepfake. Oh, deepfake, talking in the old code. I didn't actually say that I was deepfake. That's just That's coincidence, like the other things that God said to me that was coincidence and I didn't follow through it. You know, third generation, your great hope, the intelligence of Colorado rides with you, Trey. And through the convincing of others, you have thrown away your divinity and your royalty and your intelligence, and you're just tired. But wouldn't it be great to be like a phoenix? Boom! And give this world a hero, because that is the weary state of our country. We're exhausted. And I know you're exhausted too, Trey. You need to boom and prove the worth of the American. Thank you, Trey Parker. As perfect it is complete. Let's get to work immediately. I'm not happy living where I am now. I'd like to move to California. We'll set up, I'll help you with South Park and and then Wear map. I'll move back into the Wear building and I'll start opening up the breather mask company. It is the most elegant design. It is perfect design. It is good. Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you. So I really enjoyed this performance. I think it's very honest. I think I've been very saying like, I really didn't expect another apocalypse. And Trey's like, yeah, that's kind of what I was upset. Like, oh, so these bad things are a result of you and me? No, dude, it's because of it's because the Earth needs us to be here. The Earth needs Hatch and Trey to work together. That's why this is here. And the evidence of 2019 proves what I'm saying. Or at least you could understand is it's aimed in the direction of, yeah, I understand it proves what you're saying. But I mean, I'm talking with people who don't know a lot of stuff, but that's part of their defense about God knows what's going on and how to survive like nightmare attacks. At any rate, like I felt like I was looking at this the other day, and it might have just been like I was remembering all my old memories about this space, but it really was quite different. I'm like, okay, so this is a cock piece. Holy shit, if we could get these two, we could squeeze out these, and then I saw this, and I was like, oh no way, this whole thing, a U-Haul dealer and a towing thing. I don't know. I think we could get this whole spot. Oh my God, so cool, you guys, so cool. Maybe this too. Just kind of get all this stuff. Uh, when it comes down to it, it's like I don't know when the if the town will be ready to like give up their historical building, even though it's kind of just sitting there. It doesn't even look like they use it. It's like, but that's why I was saying like I think Trey and his level of lawyers might be able to tackle that issue or even comprehend it. I'm just at the level where I'm like, okay, these I need. I'm gonna connect. I'm gonna put a. Oh, I have plans for this whole space. I'm gonna connect all of these things. These need to be torn down and rebuilt here. But um, like there's an oil tank built buried over here that needs to be removed. It's not leaking, but it's in the ground and it's a big space where they used to store oil. But I'm hoping that this long building here will become part of the historical dungeon area of the downstairs of a full-fledged production, movies and streaming service, video games and artwork, dancing, singing, and performing in motion capture and becoming a new cartoon character and their motion tracking, with the face tracking and animating a cartoon. It's a wonderful life and it's something that we're going to give to our kids, Trey. And they're really the ones who have something to say about the future. So it's for us to be big man and to provide that encounter for them. And we give the garden to our children, then we really win our lifetime quest. Thank you so much, Trey, for being my spirit animal and for being my friend. I do think that you are the wizard, chosen one, even though it's just like you're like, well, I'm really into games and like I can tell, Trey, that you're perfect for me. So I'm just really grateful that we're friends, and I hope that you can give the green light and let's move forward. so that 2021 isn't a repeat of 2020, a wasted apocalypse. It was very difficult on the ethnics who were forced onto the streets for what they felt, you know. But you guys aren't triggered by, okay, never mind. So, anyway, Merry Christmas. And Trey, I need you to actually put some gas on the pedal and hire Hatch. Otherwise, Earth's choosing of your wild inauguration of the creation model will go to someone else, and the kingdom that was meant for your children will be gone, and someone else will take your place, Trey. So there is urgency, and I will provide the greatest justice. The breather saves lives. I have a feeling this product will be very popular in Europe and well supported in Japan. The factories here with automation can produce the millions of masks required. This is a very large building. With automation, the long building is perfect for assembly and shipping. We might literally even use the shipping group over here. All right, thank you guys so much. Once again, the ball is in your court, Trey. The time signature of our rocks and our is different from what we're being expected to believe spiritually by the conditioning of consumerism. And South Park is perfectly my angel because I mean, Towley, you guys have been fighting against consumerism and you've been fighting for free speech and you've been fighting against all these issues that I'm talking about too. So I know that we are family. The universe is vast, and I hold a special reservation for Earth's chosen one, Trey Parker. Trey's inheritance with me is vast. To be respected. Let's synchronize our pocket watches, the wizard's table. Everyone's being respected here. Earth is the number one place in the universe to be. We are empowered. There is no greater planet to travel to. We are in a place of opulence. Let's do our best work here and supply for the children a breather mask for a situation beyond even our own government. But your common sense, Trey, is correct. We need to make these masks. We need to do the right thing. We need to raise up America. Thank you, my friends. For South Park, I love you guys so much. I wish I could just be happy and that I'm just making friends with Randy Marsh and playing with Eric Cartman. How I love them. Our family is great. We are immune. We install the health. We are powerful to produce the breather mask. We are willing and able. It is good. Thank you guys. I hope to hear from you soon. Please put a rush on this project. His perfect is complete. It is good.